Hello internet, my name is Henry Edits, and I'm uploading this video on my third channel, so don't expect any major edits other than screenshots, as I'll just put random footage like I'm some commentary YouTuber from 2016. And oh yeah, my third channel got striked by this random meme this Discord server posted on my server for apparently being too political. Thank you bro, here's a shoutout. I even made a video about it, so you can also look it up here. I wanna say that every time I get a strike on this channel, I'll make these sorts of videos just to give myself some sort of punishment. And those are personal stories in which I know I shouldn't have messed around with, but oh well, you'll learn something today from me. Anyways, I wanna talk about something that happened to me recently, and the reason why I make these videos is so people don't end up in situations like I do. You can make fun of me, by the way. I am a fucking idiot for talking to this person, and I'll talk about it in this video. It's a very similar situation to the Why I Hate Montenegro video I made a few months back, but this is probably worse. The only difference is pretty much that this video is scripted. Why does this video have 3,000 words? By the way, you don't have to watch the previous video, they don't really have any correlation. In this video, I'll use fake names and change up locations and change certain story elements, so I don't have to directly invade people's privacy, but the entire story is pretty much true. It all happened when I came home late in the evening when I got a message from an unknown number. It was from a girl from my college telling me she got my phone number from Maria. Again, not using real names, names are all made up. Now let me give you some context for this. I study software engineering in my college, and in our class we have a public group with around 300 students. This is how I discovered that she was from my college, because I can see that her number is in the group. Of course, in the group, some people are idiots, some are here to help, to share documents, but most of them ask questions inside the group, and some questions can be really retarded. It doesn't matter. Anyway, in the group, I'm mostly here to help people because 1, that creates me a likable character in college, and 2, because that's simply who I am. That's my personality. I like helping people, but it doesn't really matter if I charge them or not. I just like doing it as long as I get something in return. Usually respect, coffee, anything. I really don't know. Of course, helping people can be a bad thing, so I'll have to clarify that too. I don't really help annoying people who don't give anything back, which is obviously illogical. Why would I help someone if they won't help me? That just makes sense to me. I remember when I was in web design, 20 completely random people asked me for help in DMs, and I have no idea who those people are, and they deemed annoying. So I try to fuck them over by saying, oh, I have another person I'm helping out, or maybe I can do it later if I have time. And if they keep asking me like this, like a complete degenerate, I just fucking block them. Lol. Trolling is truly inside my heart, but it's their fault for not studying, so I'd say my actions are justified. But anyway, in the late June of this year, this girl asked me if I'm good at web design. Now this is where I could have made a choice where I wouldn't answer or I would. The thing is, most of the DMs I receive I usually don't reply to, which is normal. For example, this guy DM'd me to fix his website because the entire website gets deleted from a button click. And yes, that is actually what happens. But she made it sound like she knew Maria before, because she told me that's how she got my number. So, just because of that, I replied, yes, I do, I got a perfect grade, which I actually do, I have a 10. So, then I was expecting as usual to receive a reply about helping her, but instead she asked me to give her advice to fix her grades. While I'm not the kind of a guy who gives a good advice to people, I think I'm more capable to motivate people, so I just gave some words of encouragement. During the conversations, she thanked me and she tried to make some new discussions. For example, she told me she was literally a nerd in high school, participated in events in almost every subject, and had a robotics tournament. Look, this all sounds very skeptical. I was really concerned, but I kept listening to what she had to say. She tried to give a reason that she has problems with keeping up with subjects, especially math. Basically, she does tasks super late, but then she tells me how she somehow became uninterested in everything. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but it's as if she wanted to impress me or wanted me to feel bad for her just so I could help her with anything. Which in truth, that is what she did. But at the time I didn't know because, well, something was just kinda off. She told me some random stories of how she was a failure, of how she used to be smart in the past, stuff like that. Would you feel bad for that person? I mean, you'd probably try to tell that person that things are going to be okay or that people are stressed in life sometimes. But I didn't like her and I didn't mean to start a deeper relationship. In fact, I was actually interested in another girl at the time. But again, it's my problem how my personality is built, trying to help people, and that is just because I feel bad for not doing so. And it's something I deeply regret with this person, as I'll talk about what happened later, but this was a huge red flag for me. 4 days later, she asked me to help her with math. Understanding her previous problems, I decided to do so. In college, we had laboratory classes where we would use this special software called Octave, or whatever, which is used for matrix and graph calculations, along with other things. She told me that the professor told her that the absolute minimum she needed to pass the math subject was just matrix calculations. So for the coming days, I tried to prepare her for the absolute minimum score. And this is where I started to regret what I was doing because I was questioning her intelligence. For example, I gave her a problem which involved square roots. This example right here in particular. In math, how would you calculate this root number is by moving the top index number from the left and you move it to the right and having one being divided by the index. I probably explained this extremely poorly to you guys, but I'll leave an image so you can see what I exactly mean. This calculation is basically learned in math during high school, but she really had zero clue what she was supposed to do. Okay, maybe it's not that easy of a problem. I know people who don't deal with roots sometimes forget that you could do this in math, but didn't she tell me a few days ago that she was literally a really good student? Like, this is one of the examples where an answer is obvious to me, but not for her. Like, I'm not perfect at math, I'm actually pretty good at it, but I can't say I'm exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. But how she was calculating things was actually just very lackluster. From this point, I kind of got demotivated and decided myself that I'm just going to help her out with just math and get over it. After one of the lectures, she at some point told me that she had other subjects like Java, Python, and computer architecture, and I didn't really want to help her with that, but I didn't want to come out as a mean person. Instead, I just gave her some advice where she could study those subjects herself. This clearly means she has a big problem with subjects, and during the conversation I told her that she should just get things done in time, and I told her that, for example, I have all my exams finished and all I have left is that I just have one more grade to be signed by my professor on my college index. After mentioning that, she asked me when and where do I have that, because later she told me that she was going to do the same thing since our professor was doing lectures for Java and web programming at the same time. So, but she had like web programming done, so she wanted to get like, you know, her grade signed on the college index too. And then on top of that, she offered me to go out and have coffee. Okay, listen guys, okay, I want you to understand this. I have never met this person in my college. She showed up, she asked me to help, she told me about her problems, and now she asked me to go out with her. She did everything and I didn't ask for anything. As I said before, this was likely for her to make me help her, which she did, but I was skeptical. But since I've never met her, and since she found a timing to meet me, I was like fuck it, fine, we'll go out, okay. And the only reason why I did it is because we never met in person, and as I said before, I just want to be more positive and come out as a likable person, which I did. Usually we would technically call this thing a date, but I hate calling this a date, it's more of a meetup. But then again, the definition of a date is literally a meetup between two people. So technically it is the same exact shit. And if you're asking me how this date was, honestly it is the worst fucking date I've been on. And it was so embarrassing and awful that honestly it was such a waste of time. I'll explain what happened. So it is early July, I'm headed to the place we plan to meet up and to get my professor to send my grade in my college index, while at the same time she was getting ready. In the morning for the last time, I helped her with her math exam because she had it today at 3 p.m. And then something very weird happened. She mentioned that she had a best friend that she used to go out with but no longer does because the best friend's boyfriend told her that she used to be better but now she's an asshole. So the best friend's boyfriend is trying to distance his girlfriend from her. And later she told me something about, I don't know, along the lines of, or maybe it's just me. Of course, I was just shocked by this. Maybe going out wasn't the best idea. But since I agreed to it, I guess I'll endure it. I'm not the best at giving advice, but I think I gave the best neutral response because I don't really have any context of what is happening, nor any opinion. It's just kind of making herself sound insane on her end. Honestly, even to this day, I have no idea what happened and why she wanted to say this to me. She probably wanted some kind of support to feel like that she was right. But look, this all sounds like it comes from a person with real issues. And if you think I'm being offensive here, well, listen to what I have to say from here. It was like 5 p.m. in Belgrade, and at 7 p.m. it is scheduled that the professor is in our college to sign our grades. So naturally, the plan was that we were going to have coffee, talk about different subjects, sign our grades, and go home. All in a 2-hour period. So okay, I got to the place where we were meant to meet up, and there she was. And I don't know how to describe the first 2 minutes, it just kinda started like this. Hey, what's up? Hello. How are you doing? Good. Alright, let's have some coffee in a nearby mall. Okay. And now, silence. It was just very awkward. There was like a very close mall, so of course there's a coffee shop inside. So we were heading out there, but how we were getting there was just fucking weird. The coffee shop was on the second story, so we went by escalators, but it was so awkward because she was always a few steps in front of me, as if she was somehow disrespecting me for some reason. And I haven't done absolutely anything, and it began to creep on me. I didn't feel like I was respected, and respect is what I value in people the most. We went to the coffee shop without saying anything, and we went over and ordered coffee. It was getting really uncomfortable, so I started to have a conversation. I asked her how the math exam went, because, you know, she had it today, and she told me she was 1 point off. So in my head, I thought maybe that's why she wasn't having the day right now. But then again, when you add up all the previous issues I talked about, maybe that's just kind of the person she is. She's lying, she's failing at everything. People are telling bad things about her. Bad things keep happening to her, but at the same time, you know, I don't feel bad for her at all, especially because of how awful the situation is and because of how she acts and her body language. I have some sympathy before, but now the more you learn about this person, the less you have it. I tried to get her to talk about something else. For example, they explain in detail the situation she had with her best friend, but she kind of just repeated the same thing she told me in like 2 sentences. Here's the thing with this girl, she's so uninteresting, you can't just talk about anything. I swear, this isn't anything wrong with me, because when I meet other people in college in person, it is usually relaxing and chill to talk to that person, even if I don't really talk with him or her in the future. Like, I usually start conversations related to college or subjects in college, which makes sense, and then other fun things like cars or computers, so it kind of just starts from there. But with her, nothing is happening. I talked about my book hobby, I really liked reading books, and talked about George Orwell's Animal Farm, future video soon, 1984, future video soon, I like a few other things. And while she did ask me what Animal Farm was about, I think she just kind of wanted the time to pass. I swear I tried to get her to say something, but it was usually one-word responses. How I would describe this whole date was literally me talking 90% of the time while she was talking 10% of the time. Now this might sound like I was annoying her or something, but she was just like such an uninteresting person. It's like I wanted to ask her why she was even like why she even called me on this fucking date, because like I just lost my brain cells. But I didn't really ask her that because that would probably offend her more. But whatever. So we finished with the coffee. Of course, the guy who served us coffee gives us the bill, and as Papa Franco always says, you must always pay the bill.
You never split it. You must always pay the bill.
So I did. And then, of course, when he left, she came to me and said, no, 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 I'm giving you my cash for that coffee. And I said, I replied with, no, you don't have to. But then she gave me the money anyway. This might sound like pretty understandable, because it was so uncomfortable. But however, as I was like picking up money and putting it in my wallet, she literally stood up and left the cafe, and she was literally fleeing 15 meters away from me, and that really offended me. And I have literally done nothing other than being nice, helping with math along with other things, and she just came off as an asshole. It really pissed me off. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to college and get my grade signed. But then for some reason, as I thought that was it, like she was like, I guess I'm going with you. Like, what? Wait, like I don't understand. Like, okay, well, writing this video, like my little brain cells are slowly just, they're fucking starting to melt. Like, okay, I can endure this. This probably can't get any worse than that. Except it did, because the professor midday announced that he was busy today and he's available tomorrow. And that basically means, in other words, I just wasted my time for literally nothing. And so for the few moments later, we just went home. The conclusion of this video is, basically mentally damaged women approach me, not epic. But seriously, don't do what I did. Even though this lasted for a week, which, thank God it didn't last longer, but it was quite bad. But I do have one final thing to say. Here's a question for you. If you love someone, is there any reason why would you like that person? I mean, you have a reason to like someone, right? It's not just out of the blue, and you can't just possibly not have a reason. Usually for me, the answer to this question is this. If someone who I like respects what I do, how hard I work, but I also respect that person's dedication, then I'd say that's love. Don't get me wrong, I was not into her at all. It was just probably the other way around. But that's just kind of like what first dates decide. If you're going out on your first date, it decides if you'll go out again. And if it didn't go well, you might as well not go out anymore with that person. But hey, that's just a theory. A date theory. Thanks for watching.